you have so many different projects, but they all kind of have this same theme of like sometimes surreal, sometimes kind of like mysterious, like mythological.
I guess like fantasy's mythology is something that very intriguing me. I feel like I do have a lot of feminine power inside me. And even until now, I always still have this kind of a very soft or electric color that follow through my work, or the subject that I usually have in my artwork would be a woman. A lot of people was saying to me like, dude, that's very sexual what you do. And to me, I never felt like that actually. I think it's just like, oh, okay, yeah, maybe to certain people, like they felt like this is very sexual, like they're really shy to look at. But for me, I never felt really shy to explore that part of sensuality. I think soft power is very important, and that's kind of like carry through all my creative work, really.
So your introduction, who are you? What's your name?
My name is Vicki Dang, and I am a CGI director. I'm actually working currently in Vietnam, but I also work with a lot of creative and also clients from around the world as well. Yeah, and I also have my studio called From Another with my partner. Yeah.
Awesome. So I want to ask you today about your work in different countries and how you got started doing creative work. And I want to talk to you about what you're working on now. So I want to begin today's talk by asking about kind of what got you interested in creative work. Was there something when you were a kid or something when you were in school that got you really, really interested in doing creative things?
So I grew up in a very normal family. It's like a middle income family in Vietnam. And just like any other Asian parents, my parents give us everything that they didn't have or didn't get when they were younger. So that's why I got to study abroad for like around 5-6 years.
Wow.
Yeah, but I grew up always felt like a bit out of place here in Vietnam. I thought I could find the answer when I traveled to another country, but it didn't really help. Like I even got more confused. Because I grew up with a very strong female figure in my family, which is my mother. For me, I always wanted to find a purpose, like what am I good at, and what make me feel move, or what do I love. And it wasn't easy, and even when I got to study abroad, I felt even more out of place, because now I didn't belong there, but I didn't feel like I belong here as well. So what is it that would make me happy? And then I found digital art and 3D. And right at the end of the year, like the last year that I got to stay there. So I spent my time just doing that. And for the first time I felt like very happy and complete. And even though I think it's just like for anyone as like even painter or animator, when you found something that you feel like you can tell a story of yourself, you can express it, you feel like the world make more sense. And I think because I got to be able to use something to tell my own story or my thought, and I just in the world for me just make more sense for me now. So yeah, that's how I got into doing art. And it wasn't because of like any figure or anything. It's just kind of like I tried many things, and finally I was so lucky to find something that, or maybe this is how I should go into more to find my way throughout this life, to make life make sense.
Yeah,
to me. Yeah,
that's amazing. That's so interesting. So you've kind of found digital art at the end of your study abroad time. So where were you studying abroad?
I was studying in the UK.
Okay.
Yeah, and I did 4 years in bachelor as fashion retailing. I thought fashion is the way to like be closer to creative, you know. But when I did it, it didn't click for me. And also it was more about business and supply chain. So like, yeah, and after that, like 3 years, I felt like, okay, I just like asked my mother, like at the last resort, like, okay, can you give me 1 more year for me to make up my mind, you know, like what I want to do? Because obviously I was graduating and then I was like, I didn't do enough, or I didn't feel motivated enough to do anything after that. So she gave me 1 more year in condition that I would do something during that time, not just 1 year being in a pro and do whatever I want. So I decided to do like a master degree. And for the whole of that year, I just like scrolling and I saw some really nice work and then I did a bit of research how to make it. And then I just started doing it new that year to learn how to do like digital art, how to do 3D, how to get to know this whole technology thing. And because at that time, everything was so new, like for like, the 3D has always been around, but it was kind of that time, it was like the time where 3D tool become easily accessible for like user like me, like beginner. It's not like an industry, something like so far away, like in like VFX or Hollywood film, I think like that. There was like Blender, it was free for everyone. And then I decided to pick up that tool and to just learn how to do things and things just came out from that, yeah.
Completely self-taught.
Yeah.
In terms of all of the 3D artwork that you do.
Yeah, totally self-taught. I mean, YouTube is my teacher.
Yeah, that's amazing. YouTube tutorials are amazing these days, especially for software.
I know, like it's got even so much better now. Like you can learn, any question you can find there. Like when I first started, it was a bit harder, and tool was slower. But you know, it's just the fact that a free software to give into, and like any student can use that free software and to learn things is so helpful, because like as student you wouldn't have money to pay for just big subscription and stuff. And yeah, that was to me, I couldn't believe it was free.
Yeah,
I was like, that must be a joke. They could have made so much money.
And Blender, is Blender still free?
It's still free.
Yeah, people can learn it.
Because the founder, he wanted to make something free like that for everyone, open source. Like anyone from like young to old can pick up this tool and to learn to do it. It should not be kind of privileged art, like, or should not be hard to learn this kind of technology. And and the company really kept that throughout as well. So
that's awesome. So it was totally accessible for a student like you to pick it up and go, oh my gosh, I can do the skills right. Like you said, it just kind of clicked when you found that.
Yeah.
So what kind of things were you making? Like you went from kind of fashion and fashion retailing to creating digital art. So what were you making when you first started?
I guess it's like, I feel like I do have a lot of feminine power inside me. So when I first started, even until now, I always do have this kind of a very soft or electric color that follow through my work, or the subject that I usually have in my artwork would be a woman, or usually that. And a lot of the theme is about sensuality, feminine empowerment, and sexuality as well. I felt like, you know, like when I first started to do that, of course, if you look at my earliest work, right, there's a lot of like, sometimes I look at it, I was like, oh my God. But
I think every creative has that moment.
Yeah. But it's actually give me a foundation to go and develop. Like, you know, it's when you look at everything as a journey, you're like, wow, I did. Thank God I went far. But then when you found my other work, there was a lot of like naked women. I wasn't shy at all. I would just like, I would put like them there. Like, of course, it's not like nude or porn, but it's like very like a woman body, but usually a bit alien. Yeah. And in the color of like pink, purple, or like, you know, very electric kind of color. Mm-hmm. And I remember I was doing all that, and when I stopped my master degree, so I have to go back here, and a lot of people was saying to me like, dude, that's very sexual what you do. And to me, I never felt like that, actually. I think it's just like, oh, okay, yeah, maybe it's to certain people, like they felt like this is very sexual, like they really shy to look at. But for me, I never felt really shy to explore that part of sensuality, feminine and sexuality. Like, I think it's a part of being a woman. Like you cannot just not have it at all. I think soft power is very important, and that's kind of like carry through all my creative work, really.
Yeah, when I looked at your work too, like you mentioned, there are some things that are, yeah, they really do focus a lot on sexuality, on female body. And then as you were talking about these kind of alien or sort of otherworldly, or kind of like almost like they're like digital beings almost, some of your creations are too. So did you have kind of some kind of influence that made you want to create these sort of like almost science fiction like kind of creations? Like you have a mermaid in a car under the water, I think, in one case. Like, did you have some kind of influence that you thought, oh, I want to try to make something like that?
Yeah, it's a good thing that you remind me of that piece, actually. Is I think for me, I think the mermaid symbol is so like intriguing. It's like a taboo at the same time. And I think it's also similar to like woman sexuality as well. I feel like at that time, now it's definitely like everyone talk about it more, but at that time when I was growing up and then when I was studying abroad as well, I feel like female sexuality is not like, it's being seen as something that you don't like really, you can't really talk about it freely or express about it freely. And like being an Asian, sometimes I feel like that you should not be talking about. Like, you know, it's not because people put it on me, but because that's how I grow up. That's my culture as well. I guess like mythology is something that very intriguing me to explore that part. And fairy tale, like, you know, like as a girl, I did enjoy a lot of fairy tale, especially about a mermaid.
Yeah, yeah, I think lots of little girls
that.
can.
So, but I just felt like it's always like I didn't have like I just felt like it didn't have like a really safe. I don't know, like when I saw how people portrayed it when at that time, I felt like it was not really a safe way to portray a female sexuality. So that made me want to create something like that I feel, but not sexualized, but safely to express the feminine way, femininity and sexuality. So that's, I guess, like that's my influence as well. Like, because I'd never seen anything that do it like that. So I just kind of create my own world. That's how I would see it.
I see.
Yeah.
So when you say that you felt like it wasn't like kind of safe to express in that way, what do you mean? Like, what was like not safe about the way that, you know, like in this case, a mermaid had been shown before? What did you feel was not safe about that?
I think the mythology about mermaid, they're like siren. So like they're like either, okay, aside from Disney things that we forget about that part, that's like a nice mermaid.
Yeah.
You know, like fall in love and got like, you know, a lot of things happened to her.
Yeah.
But there's like other kind of like mermaid mythology about siren, how like they attract men and a sailor, and and when they get them, they drown them, they kill them.
Yes.
Like, you know, so brutal. But I mean, and then there's like also like story, they say like actually because of the sailor, they stay on the ship for so long, so they just look at the sea lion and they thought it was a mermaid, and then see them kill them. Anyway.
I never heard that one before. Oh my God.
There's one, it's so funny. So yeah, I mean like, And then in film, you see like you know, aside from Disney, like you see mermaid being seen as like an evil kind of force from the sea, and then when they attract their male or the male like human, they kill them. It's just like, no, like, I mean, why? And like, I mean, they human too. Probably it's fish. They don't eat human.
Yeah, that doesn't really make much sense. What did the mermaids have against humans?
Yeah, exactly. Like, so they like zombie as well. So they eat human. It doesn't make sense to me. But I feel like the way the mythology and film portray mermaid as an attract men and kill them. That's the only way they know how to portray a sexual being.
Okay.
Yeah, and then like, oh, yeah, like to me, I think there's a lot of things more to that.
Yeah.
Of course. Oh, they could be sea lions, and then I guess they kill human too.
That could be as well. So you saw that and you went, yeah, like why do we keep thinking about, you know, like these kinds of mythological creatures or these kinds of like, you know, science fiction type creatures as evil beings or things that are kind of destructive. So you started making things that were just expressing different sides of femininity.
Yeah, for sure. Like I think also in mythology on like attractive kind of like being or a sexualized being that are evil. I don't know why. Like, and they're not.
I would guess, like, I feel like in those stories, it's like, I feel like the message behind a lot of those stories is that like somehow sexuality is evil or sexuality is bad, or it's bad to have like very normal like urges, that kind of thing. So people tell these stories about, you know, these beautiful people, these beautiful creatures as being like, you know, something that will kill you.
Yeah, exactly.
It's probably like maybe people were trying to maybe teach youth a lesson or teach people a lesson about controlling themselves, but
sure, they urges basically like that's what they're wanting. Like you should not follow something so beautiful. I mean, yeah, it's true, but at the same time, like I think we are more complicated than that. Like as a woman who embrace their truth and their what they want and their sexuality doesn't mean that she's a bad person or she know what she wants, so she will always been clear about it. Like so if people portray that it's bad, then it's just them they actually thinking bad.
yeah,
She never say that.
yeah,
you know, like,
it reveals more about the person.
the person who thinking that
Exactly.
thought. Yeah,
exactly.
So that's why I felt. But yeah, I guess like that's actually now that we talk about it, it's actually affect like that's kind of like the theme that follow with me a lot when I grade something as well.
That's cool. That's really cool. I love hearing that because I'm looking at your work, seeing all kinds of like the different ways that you express the feminine form then, and thinking about that. Like I can see kind of that thread in a lot of your projects, which I hope we can talk a bit about later. So I want to kind of go back a little bit to, you mentioned that you studied abroad in the UK, and then you said you got your master's degree. You came back to Vietnam to get your master's degree. And so now you're working primarily in Vietnam, or are you working in other places as well?
Wait, you said I came back to Vietnam.
For your master's degree, is that right?
No, actually in the UK.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
sorry.
In
Okay.
the UK, yeah.
Okay. So you got your bachelor's degree and master's in the UK. And then you came back to Vietnam after that?
Yeah.
Okay. And so currently you're working here in Ho Chi Minh City. And then did you also have some work in Shanghai as well?
Yeah. So like I came back for like 1.5 years, and then I quit my job back then, and I decided to like apply for a job somewhere else. Again, that's the story of not fitting in.
Yeah.
And then I got an offer in Shanghai, and I went there for 2 years.
Cool.
And then because of COVID, that's why I came back here.
I see.
Wow.
I see.
Yeah.
What kind of work were you doing in Shanghai?
I was a motion designer for White and Kennedy and
cool.
agency. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. That sounds exciting.
Yeah, it was a really exciting opportunity actually, because like even though Vietnam and China is so close, but I never really like explored that culture so much. I guess because we have a lot of similarity as well, so kind of have the assumption of not to do that. But when I went to Shanghai and China, I met, like, I think that was like a very important kind of period for me as well, to be an adult and to try to find my way and to define what do I do with my art as well. Because first, like, I came back and I was kind of like still trying to apply job in a company, and like I was working like on the daytime there, but then nighttime I would do my art.
Wow.
Yeah. And but like it's really was a bit too much as well. Like, as you can do it for a short time, but like, you know, you start to realize like, okay, what do I need to do with this? I kind of maintain both life like that.
Right.
And I didn't have the courage yet to just like, no, I'm gonna go with my art. So when I arrived to Shanghai, it was like a really important time, because I decided, because I met a lot of different creative. I saw a lot of different opportunity, things that, like, because China is such a big market, like you can do anything you want, really, like, and they are not like, they are their own market as well, so they're not like being influenced so much from the West or even Southeast Asia. So people are really super welcome for new creative energy.
Interesting.
Yeah. So like, I felt, for the first time, I felt that my art wasn't weird.
Cool.
Because like here I felt like a bit like, oh, maybe it doesn't fit, you know.
Okay.
But when I got there, like, everyone was doing such crazy work.
Cool.
So mine is not weird. I'm just like normal now. Like, it's great.
Oh, that's
like,
awesome.
Yeah. So that taught me a lot. So I know, then that's when I realized also, like, the world is really big. And that kind of shaped the way I was thinking about how I would approach and to do my work and make it become a business that actually helped me to do what I love.
That's so cool. Yeah. I love that. So that brought you, with COVID then, that brought you back to Vietnam, and you carried this mindset with you into your work here, doing artwork here as your full-time job.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Definitely. It was COVID was hard for everyone, but it was a time for me to just like sit back and it was like, okay, so what do we do now? Like with this, you know? And especially I got out of the job already. So, and I met my partner, Robin, and he really helped me a lot in like ensuring and like give me the confidence that to be like, you can do it, like, you know, you can. And that's how we started From Another studio.
Awesome. I want to talk about that next. Yeah. So are you doing From Another studio at the same time as you're working with Monopole? Or
yeah, with Monopole, we have a creative partnership. So when there's project that we feel like, we can benefit from each other, we will come together, pitch, or to work with each other.
Okay.
But From Another studio is only me and my partner. It's on just for us to decide which project we want to do, what kind of thing we want to invest in, and like, you know, and which kind of people we want to work with.
Mm-hmm. I want to talk a lot about that, because looking at, you know, the Instagram of your account and looking at the works from that, it looks like you have so many different projects, but they all kind of have this same theme of like sometimes surreal, sometimes kind of like mysterious, like mythological, sometimes they're physical projects, it looks like too. Like, can you talk a little bit about what kinds of things you're focusing on with your work at From Another?
I think From Another is not supposed to be like a 3D production house or a creative agency. I think if you look at it, it's like a collective creative studio.
Okay.
Like, and we try to let each other to allow us, for me, also Robin, to try to do many things at the same time. So like, because our background is like, Robin background is really good. He's a directing and, you know, advertising and music video. And for me, I'm in like 3D and post-production. But when we come together, we kind of combine this skill to try to do like all like different kind of visual and different kind of output. Mm-hmm. But we also we also work with other creative as well, who's like 2D or 3D artists to try to get something like a different outcome. Okay. You know, like it's, if we only do this what we love to do. I think we like our work are always gonna look the same. So which from another, we want to invite everyone to kind of work together and come up with ideas and how to make things work as well. And we also work with like different DOP and a different writer for a certain kind of project, depending on what they need for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you and your partner form kind of the core, and then depending on the project, you work with certain collaborators to create some kind of outcome.
Yeah.
Cool.
And that's how we see it. Of course, we have to have the core to be like, we want to make the core of From Another is to make something that everyone that in that project would love to do. So like we choose the project, sometimes it's not just based on like this client is big or the budget is not enough or anything. We kind of like, we choose it on like, does this inspire you? So then we can do it together as well. Of course, like there's need to be a certain minimum of not like making everyone overworking.
Of course,
overworking. But I think the core is just like, do something that like different, and people like you guys would love to talk about it, feel inspired by it.
Yeah, so you're choosing things that are, of course, inspiring and help you and everybody involved to grow as creatives and make new connections. And I think that that's so great. Like, it's hard to have that kind of opportunity because I think a lot of people are in kind of, especially in creative positions where maybe they belong to a company and they only do the projects that are assigned to them. So maybe they're not interested in the client or not interested in the work, but that's what they have to do. But in your case, it sounds like you have the ability to choose like whether or not you want to work with something or work with somebody or work with a certain client. So that must be kind of freeing.
I think that's the point of having From Another, really. We like, because I have experience working in an agency already, and I think it's work. Like, a lot of really good agency out there, but I feel like I really prefer that the people that I work with, my team, because we're small, we don't go really crazy big, like, but like for me, I'm a really perfectionist, so I can only trust a few people. But after years of working together, we grow a certain trust, and I kind of want them to feel like they're part of this family, and I want them to do something that they like, they love to do as well. And the only way we can be like that is we stay small and close.
I see.
But once you go big already and you take big risk client or anything like that, I think that take away the freedom as well.
Yeah. I experienced the same thing, that like when you grow, even as part of the company, it's exciting to be successful, but you slow down because there are more people involved, and so you have to consider different kinds of decisions that impact others. But if you stay smaller, you can be a little bit more flexible often. So I think I'm maybe similar. Like, I definitely prefer it to be as lean as possible, like to keep things super flexible, because it allows you to be a little bit more free, for sure. A quick question then. What does From Another mean? What was the reason you chose that name for your collective?
Actually, our website is called From Another Love, FromAnother.love. So I guess like From Another is always about like, it's never just yourself, it's just always from something else and at another place. So like, and actually the whole name is From Another Love, but we thought it was too cheesy and it's just shade already. So we would decide to do a website, From Another.love, and put the company just From Another.
Okay.
But the core is the love and the passion in it. And even if we want to change to, it's a kind of easy word to match with anything, like From Another, like studio, From Another fashion, from so. But we wanted to be really abstract as much as possible, and let everyone kind of play with the word.
That's cool then. That's cool. So in terms of some of the projects, like in looking at the Instagram from Another, it looks like one of the most recent projects was it looks like a physical like installation. There were some like gorgeous like night scenes of like this I guess, visual art that was like lights, like illumination type
with
events.
Lumina.
That one looked like that looks like a very recent project that was gorgeous and very well received. Like, can you share a little bit about what kind of recent projects you've done with From Another?
I think that one we did it during the COVID.
Okay.
And it was a Robin team to manage that. And basically we have like some like partner in China, and basically Lumina, like the company from Canada, they asked us to have to set up the lighting for in the forest in Shanghai. And so we happen to have the people, like to have the some people there to help with them as well. So it was really beautiful. Like they had to stay in the forest for like 2 days to set that up, and before that they had to do pre-production for like 1 week or something like that. And it's there forever. So
cool.
I mean, I think it's gonna be there forever, but at least 5 years.
Oh wow! So people can go and see it now if they want to.
Yeah, you can go and see it now, like
cool.
anytime. Yeah.
Where is it?
It's in like a forest outside Shanghai.
Outside Shanghai.
Yeah. It's in the whole forest, so like it's an experience, very seclusive. You don't have so much light, so like it was like one of the. It's also like something that From Another really want to do as well, like art installation. Because like I also feel like sometimes we experience things on just a phone or just a black screen is getting very like limited, you know. And art installation, when we did that, we felt like how amazing something looks so simple on your phone, but then when you actually put it in a place like this, it's just like change the whole atmosphere.
Right,
you know?
For sure. Yeah, like that kind of immersive art experience is really exciting. I think those are getting more and more popular for sure. So then you do a lot of like 3D art, CGI art that looks at so many different cool forms. And I like in the projects of yours that I was looking at, you've done, for example, the couple that really stood out to me, there was one, I think it was a music video that you did that was called Night Goggles, where you had like this invisible person like running around, like, but like the body you couldn't see, but you could see only like the clothes, right? And the goggles on that person. Like, do you want to have, you know, like you were just talking about how we tend to experience so much art through our phones. Do you want to have opportunities to showcase your art, your digital art in kind of these immersive experiences? Like, do you have some concepts in mind for how you could show your art or exhibit your art in these kind of more physical ways, so it's not just online?
To be honest, I would love to answer this question, but I'm still really thinking about that. Like, this is something that I have, like, for me, it's like the next step. But I still haven't locked down like what I want to show yet, like the story about it. So like, yeah, like that's definitely the next step. But for now, it's not like I don't have like a clear concept on how I want to do it. But that's definitely something I want to go down as a path as well. Because I saw a lot of artists as well, like when they take their digital to the physical space, and there's so many good ones like in the States and also in Europe. That's like the path that I also want to try to create my own world inside a space. Yeah.
That sounds really cool. Yeah, I've seen people using like AR along with physical artworks, and you know, there's so many different ways that people are exploring the use of technology for sure.
I actually do want to have like more like physical sculpture and like product that go out with it. Just like, I haven't got to that point to do it yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I really think AR is pretty cool. VR is pretty cool, but for me it's still digital, you know. And I kind of want to create like a textile, like kind of world that you can touch it.
Yeah.
But but I guess it's kind of come from the fact that I used to be like doing fashion and stuff, and I refer the feeling of textile, you know.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you about that. Kind of going back, you started in fashion, and then you took this path, you know, Vietnam to UK, Vietnam, Shanghai, Vietnam. Like, you have all of these different influences kind of coming together in your background and in your creative work. Like, do you think that those experiences have really made your artwork really unique and really special?
Sorry, I'm really shy with compliment. That's my Asian blood in here. It's like I don't know what to do with that. Thank you.
Let me rephrase. What do you think is maybe different? Like, if we can kind of imagine, like, if you had never left Vietnam, but you were still doing artwork, compared to, having this experience from UK, from Shanghai, like, do you think that you gained unique experiences that influenced your artwork now?
Yeah, definitely being in different country, travel and talking to different people from different culture really shaped me for who I am and what I think about the world. I don't think I would be the same person if I was gonna stay here and never left, I think I would have been feel very out of place still, and traveling, the more I travel and the many different kind of people that I met really opened my point of view as well. And also because of that kind of took me to where I am today. To be honest, I am also like really extrovert people, a person, and I like to talk and to discuss about things with people from a really different mindset, and that really helped me to learn a lot as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I think like for me, my goal, because my work also get inspired a lot on relationship, people and human, how we interact with each other. So if I didn't have that, I would have not have the depth to create what I had already created. Yeah.
Cool. Super cool. So then I want to continue considering like the people who watch and listen to this series are kind of people who are interested in other countries and other cultures and are interested in creative work too. What do you think is exciting about working in another country or another culture or another language in your experience? What was like the most exciting thing for you?
That's a good question, actually. I had a lot of people ask me that too. I think the fact that you are nobody, that make it really exciting.
The fact that you're nobody.
Yeah, because you start everything fresh.
Oh, that's true.
You can do anything you want. Of course, you need to have your background, but like from there, no one know you. You can get the first introduction of who you could be and what you could do. That's why it's super fresh. Sometimes when people kind of like know what you do already, they used to see your work already, it's kind of like it's a good, also a bad thing at the same time, because like if they see so much of your work, they get bored. That's like, I see this artist, let's move on, and but when you like travel and you go to a new foreign place and you're the new person being in there and no one's seen anything that you have done, you have all the opportunity to, let's prove this one. Let's show it. Let's sell it. And I think the new part, that's the opportunity.
Cool.
Yeah.
Then the other side of this question, then, what do you think is challenging about working in other countries and cultures?
I think the culture, right? Like you can't go in and be like, here's my cool work, and people will be like this, like people will be like, oh yeah, cool, but like how do you transform that work and your ability to adapt your work to make sure that the audience, the people that you work with or you do the work for actually love it, and then like because it fit with their culture, but also you can be able to keep your own creative creative inspiration as well. I think that's a challenge, because like I think my goal is to be like someone not just have one style visual, but someone to be able to like translate, adapt, but also being able to keep a little bit of the message that I have to go into every work that I do. Like I don't believe just like doing this one sculpture or one figure for all of the work. I think it might just be limited.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. Well, I mean, it already sounds like you have a really strong understanding of the key themes of your work. So it sounds like you'll be able to continue making things with those core elements of yourself in mind. Like that sounds like something that you're already doing for sure.
Oh, I mean, like, yeah, I mean, I hope so. I hope so. But yeah, I love the big challenge, really. Like someone, when cause like I like to do like, you know, art exhibition as well. I think it's artwork is another side, but I also really enjoy doing like commercial work at the same time. I think those kind of work really hone my skill to how to contextualize, rationalize what I try to say, what I try to tell to them. And from that kind of skill I got from working with those clients, when I go back to my artwork, like for me, it's important for me to have that carry on as well. I really like abstract work. I think it's the core of art, really, because like when you look at something abstract, you can think of many things. But for me, storytelling is important as well. So like from looking at an artwork like abstract like that, I also want it to flourish, to have a message, a story around it as well.
Great, that's so cool. I love that so much. Continuing kind of like giving a bit of advice then, when you look back on your experiences, is there anything you wish you had done differently? Something you wish you had not done, or something you wish you had done? Is there anything like that in your experience?
I actually don't regret anything that I did. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. I guess like, yeah, really, I didn't, I think I have finally I'm turning 30 this year.
Okay.
So like, finally, I actually be able to say that I'm finally feel like quite in my place.
Cool.
At this time, like, you know, like, because of all this experience, even the mistake or like the thing that I didn't do, but because of all of that, it's help me to arrive here. So I really happy for where I am. Like,
that's cool.
What I can do now.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, like you talked at the beginning about how you felt out of place here in Vietnam, but now here we are back talking in Vietnam. Like, do you feel now that you are not out of place now? Do you feel like you're in place? That's so interesting. It's the same location.
It's the same
location.
You're
the person that's changed.
Yeah, I'm the one who just changed, really. I think when you found something that you really like to do and it makes sense to you, the world anywhere really doesn't feel so foreign anymore. And I think that's the important part as well. Even when I talk to my designer and my teammate, and they're a bit younger than me as well. Like in sometime when you like at that age of 20 something, like mid-20, you feel like sometimes you feel lost, even though you're talented, but you don't know what you do with this, you know. And well, I just tell them like it's just the phase right now that your life has to be turbulent, so that later this turbulence is gonna make you decide what you want to do. So it's a part of it. So experience it, accept the turbulence, even it's crazy. It's let it go crazy, because once you get out of it, you will know more about what you want. I think the saddest part is to not know what you want. And I think because you don't know, then you keep making mistake.
Yeah, if you don't give yourself the opportunity to find the kinds of things that make you happier, that make you feel a sense of purpose, then you might get kind of stuck in that feeling of turbulence for a long time, for sure. So I think having those opportunities to find inspiration and to try new things and grow and meet other people, it's so valuable, because you never know.
You never really know,
what the next connection is going to be. That's always so amazing to me. Coming towards the end of our talk, then I have a couple pretty maybe easy questions. Then, a big one though: who inspires you, or is there anybody that you think, oh, I would love to collaborate with that person?
Like, I think the person that I would love to collaborate with is Woodkid.
Woodkid?
Woodkid. He's a music director, singer, songwriter, graphic designer, and 3D artist. Everything.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, multi-creative.
Multi-creative. He's a very versatile person. And I really respect someone who can give direction and be able to execute it. I think that's the heart and the the hard skill and the soft skill combined together. I think that's someone, if you work with them, they would never put so much pressure on you like that, you know, because they know what would it take to make something like this. So with Kid, definitely the person that I really respect his work, and everything that he does not it's not even like trendy. Like he doesn't care about trend. So that's just perfect. He has his own visual. He has his own direction. But he's very versatile. He can also direct for other musicians as well. So like that's definitely the person I want to work with. But then if talk about 2D artists, and then I would recently I saw a South Korean artist. Her name is Sang, yeah. And she have such a beautiful, she makes such beautiful intricate like painting, digital painting of like women, and like in a very surreal. It's a bit like scary if you look at it though, like, you know. But then it's scary, but it's not. It's beautiful, but it's actually make me feel like you know, excited. Yeah, you want to know more. But every time you look at the detail, you're like, oh. She's like very taking care of her detail, of everything. So I really respect perfectionist people when they take care of their artwork.
Right. Love that. Okay, cool. Then I want to ask Ben about your creative collective. What is coming up next for you, or what is the next thing that you hope that people check out?
I'm not sure I should say it, because there's an Asian. Yeah, there's an Asian belief that if you say something already when it's still not out yet, it might jinx it.
Okay, we don't want to jinx your project.
Don't want to jinx it.
Completely understand. So,
Sorry.
in other words, you have to check her project on
Pretty
the
much.
internet, basically. So, where can people find you on social media or online to find out what your next mysterious project is?
You guys, you can like check my Instagram. It's kind of hard to say. It's called Wiki with 6 I at the end.
6 eyes.
Okay. So maybe you need to put like a box here.
Yeah. I'll put your links everywhere, so it's very easy and people don't have to guess. Yeah.
Or you can follow from another Instagram as well. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'll make sure to put all those links there. And then we're at the end of our discussion for today. Do you have any last thoughts that you're burning to get out?
Last thought. I mean, okay, well, just one thing, like whoever, like this I got asked a lot.
Okay.
And maybe I should just say it now.
Sure.
Say it now. Like a lot of people ask me, like, if you feel like there's a style that make you feel obsessed and very like stuck with it, how do you get out? Right? The only way to get out is to collab with someone completely different from you. To talk with them and to work it out. And that's it. That's all I want to say.
That's a good piece of advice. For sure. I love that. Awesome. That's it for me. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Awesome talk.